Well, hello, here we are again with the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael and we are back here to talk about movies, and this time we're actually talking about something that's very new and fresh, and that's why I will release this video before I release some others that I already recorded, but aren't that fresh and new anymore anyway. So, let's get to it with Hataraki Saibo. Cells at Work. Very lovely little movie that's a little bit scary here. And let me show you. Here, this is basically the whole cast. It's maybe a nice image. I was mildly excited for this because on the one hand, I like the director. That's Hideki Takeuchi, who made stuff like Thermae, Romae, Color Me True, and Fly Me to Saita, which I all liked quite a lot. And then there's the action director. That's a gentleman called Takahito Ochi. Or Ochi? Probably Ochi. And he, for example, did the action for the two best Rurouni Kenshin movies, so the two Kyoto movies, and quite a lot of high and low. So that seems to me like a good combination. And it's, again, a manga adaptation produced by Warner Brothers, so with a quite decent budget. And let's name few of the actors very quickly. We have Mei Nagano. We know her from the first Kenshin movie and Zebra Man 2, or Parks or Mixed Doubles. Then we have Takeru Sato, who was Kenshin in Rurouni Kenshin, and enough. We have Mana Ashida, who was in Pacific Rim and in Confessions, and when she was in Confessions, she must have been like 6 or so I guess she was a girl that got killed. We have Sada Oabe, who I just mentioned in 11 Rebels, and he was in Afterlife, and Kamikaze Girls and the Great Yokai War. So these are the 4 main actors, but I want to mention very quickly the 2 coolest in this movie. That's Koji Yamamoto, who I mostly know from Shin Ultraman, and Risa Naka, who was in Zebra Man 2 in the Mole Song movies, and there was one more good one, I think, but I forgot. I can't find it anymore. Okay, I guess that's it. And she and here Mr. Yamamoto were the killer cells, basically, who are responsible for a little bit of the action and are very fun. Anyway, what's this movie about? This movie is about cells that are working inside a human body, and that's the whole story. Yeah, actually it is. We have father and daughter, and the mother passed away because she got sick. So now the daughter is very worried about her father's health, and we see what's going on inside their bodies while all their cells, mostly the red and white blood cells, are being portrayed as by actors in costumes, and basically just do their work, and that's the whole story. And it's a little bit funny. Let's start with, I liked the movie quite a lot, and then I started thinking about it, and I didn't like it as much, and I thought a little bit more about it, and I liked it more. And I think we can just skip the spoilers this time, because it's not all that deep, and I will just tell you a little bit about the movie in general, and then we will go through my thinking process, which might not be so interesting for some people who just go like, this is nice entertainment, I want to be entertained, and that's totally fine. So why is this movie good and why does it have a few issues? I would say the issues come from its manga origin. Of course, it's a manga adaptation, and it makes the structure of the movie and how it works a little bit clunky, not elegant, but that's a really minor problem and you shouldn't worry too much about it. Like, the big thing is the first half of the movie is more like little episodes, like she catches a cold, that she has a fever and stuff like that, and we see how that plays out in the body, to show how the world works and to introduce all the characters. And we get a lot of exposition, like every time something new happens, the red blood cell, who's our main protagonist, will check her tablet to get an explanation. And it's a little bit clunky and clumsy, I guess. In a manga it works better because you just have a text that explains it to you and it feels more natural to have an explanation like that than in a movie, but they don't spend too much time on it. It's not like you have a long dialogue scene where they discuss what might happen. You get a small comment and then the thing happens, so you get back into the action quite soon. So it's just not elegant, but I don't think it's really annoying. It depends, like if I watch it again, it depends how annoying these explanations turn out. That's what turned me off with Christopher Nolan's movies. There's just too much explanation in the dialogue without showing me what's actually happening. And here, you get a small explanation and then we get stuff. And that's like the first half, and then in the second half, we get into the real story, which is one big mission for our cells. And basically, suddenly the whole movie turns into a hyper melodramatic apocalypse movie and a lot of death and suffering. And it's really, really depressing and nasty and tries to make you cry, and it's a bit sudden, and I don't know if I felt all that much for the character. But at the end it worked out because just how bad everything becomes. But I'm not sure how well these first few little episodes actually introduced all the characters to grab me emotionally. Maybe it works better the second time, maybe worse. I'm not sure yet. I'm not convinced yet. It works all well enough. It's no big deal. But I think that could have been handled more elegantly. What works out quite okay is how these little episodes from the beginning actually turn into the main plot. Like, we get some breadcrumbs here and there, and then it becomes this big one story that suddenly breaks loose. And like that, it works out well enough. The cast is pretty nice. It all feels a little bit distanced from the main characters because it's so focused on this work aspect that we don't really get much more personality from our main characters inside the body. Like the normal human characters work just fine. You get enough about them, and you get enough to understand their characters and why they do what they do. But with the cells, it's more like they're all just numbers doing their jobs, and the drama comes from them basically sacrificing themselves for this mission. And besides that, they don't really have much of a personality. They try to make some relationships. They try to build some relationships. They try to create some interaction, some more intimate interaction, but mostly it's just these characters at work doing what they do. And so I don't know, maybe it helps to watch it again, but I felt like this was a little bit too distant. Maybe there was too much story pressed together into one movie. It's 110 minutes long, so not even a super long movie, like, I don't know, these 3-hour Marvel movies. Also, I mean, the length is fine, but maybe they had a little bit too much story to handle here. And maybe they wanted a bit too much. Maybe these small episodes. I guess in the manga you have these episodes as well, like the first few chapters just introducing stuff, having small little stories, and then you get to this main arc that makes here the second half of the movie. But I guess if you could have everything in this big arc, it might have worked a little better, but you need so many episodes to introduce stuff. It's a bit clunky, a bit not elegant. Mr. Takeuchi has handled that in his other movies maybe a bit better. Maybe the source material is just like that. It's a bit, could have been a little bit nicer. But what is very nice is on the visual style. I liked that a lot. It's very colorful. My pet peeve is relatively toned down. It shows up every now and then, and I didn't appreciate it, but it's no big deal. Most of the movie is just red and white and blue and all these things. What's sometimes a bit not so great for the action is that you have sometimes white blood cells fighting white blood cells, and they all are just white, and it's sometimes a little bit confusing to see that, but it doesn't happen often. It's not so bad. Just how this works. And the action itself is really, really good. A lot of wire stuff, a lot of jumping and flying, and one person fighting crowds. You have a lot of weird costumes. Have I mentioned that it's basically a tokusatsu movie? Yeah, so people with funny rubber costumes and a little bit weird CGI stuff going on. It's a lot of fun. It's very weird and funky, and there's some nice design. So visually, it's quite entertaining, and the action is very nice. Maybe not as good as in the Kenshin movies, but here I would say it's less about the action, still more about the characters, even though there's a lot of action. So that's good. Oh yeah, I remembered, speaking of action, what Rina Naka's movie was that I didn't mention. I think she was in Heart Revenge Millie. Or was that someone else? I can't find it here. Can't find it. Someone was in Heart Revenge Millie, number 2. Doesn't matter. So the action is good. The story is fine. The tonal shift is a bit drastic, I think, but that is very normal in manga and anime, more normalized than in live action movies, I would say, but this being based on a manga, comes with that. So that works well. This whole story works well. The action is great. The costumes are wonderful. So I basically already edited the whole video and started the upload and everything. And I realized I didn't talk about one of the best elements of the movie. What I really, really liked was this whole depiction of the world and how outside events affects the the inside world. Basically, let's say the girl falls down and suddenly we have these huge like earthquakes and explosions and stuff. Same when she sneezes, it's basically a rocket that just goes out, and all these things, and it's just really, really funny how that is portrayed and how that all plays out. It's just completely gaga and weird, and in the end extremely dramatic when certain things happen, and I think that was really, really well done and is probably the most entertaining part of the movie. Like, you have something that's seemingly small, and then you have the crazy inside world where everything goes nuts just because this tiny event is happening. And yeah, I just wanted to add this little bit because yeah, it's really important, and how could I forget that? And yeah, sorry for this little insert with audio and stuff, but back to the original. And it's all a good, nice package, so nothing really to complain about, just some minor problems with the structure and the characters. But if you enjoy a good popcorn movie with a lot of action and a little bit tear-jerking, you will probably appreciate this a lot. But let's go through my thinking process after the movie. So first, I was just like, hey, I was very well entertained. I really liked this movie. And then I felt like, isn't it weird that it basically portrays this wonder world where basically everything is just about work and people are just numbers, part of the collective, and the message is basically work hard for the collective so we have a nice world, and just sacrifice yourself for the greater good and these things. And the father in the human story works so hard to get enough money for his daughter and so on. And I felt a little bit like, is that just nostalgic bubble era Japan propaganda, just going like, yeah, you just gotta work hard for the greater good to make everything nice and shiny? And I was like, people don't even have names, and it's all somehow a little bit creepy and weird, and I don't like that so much anymore. And then I thought, but there's one important difference between this wonder world where our cells live, like the human body, and our reality. Our reality has capitalism. This world doesn't have capitalism. Everybody has actually an important function in the ecosystem, and they work so the world around them works, and you should try hard to make the world around you be nice and fine. And yeah, there's no capitalism. You don't work for your own greed. The one character who becomes greedy becomes basically evil, and the father who works so hard for his daughter gets sick because he works so hard in the capitalist system. And so maybe this is just a little bit anti-capitalist, borderline communist. Live in a community where people take care of each other and just try to make the world function and a nice shiny place where it's fun to live in, where you can have the samba and everything when it's good, and you try to avoid the times when there's the apocalypse going on. I guess that's not so bad to tell the people, be like, yeah, if everybody works together to make the world function, it's pretty good. And yeah, I appreciate this world where people actually do good stuff, where work has a meaning, and then it's maybe not so bad to work hard. If you just work so Elon Musk can have another million more that he doesn't need and probably doesn't even want because he won't notice it's there. What's the point in that? But here, everybody has a mission that actively helps the world be better, and if they don't do it, the world goes down, and maybe you should help the world to help to stop the world from ending, which might happen someday because the humans are trying really hard. Cool. So I kind of like that, even though they still don't have names and they don't have really fun, and it's all about working, but it's at least working with a point and not just for a capitalist greedy society. And if you like this, maybe deep in your heart you're a communist or at least a leftist extremist or whatever. I don't know. But so I learned to appreciate the movie's message, intended or not, a little bit more than I thought in between, because I thought, oh my god, don't give me here Japanese work propaganda, work until you die because it's important. Now, work until you die in a system that actually appreciates your work and your work has a meaning. That's nice. I like work having a meaning. I don't know if my work has a meaning. I don't know if this has a meaning. I still thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a good time. Watch this movie. It's a lot of fun. And maybe there will be a sequel. Would be nice. I would like to see more. And what I forgot, professionalism. Of course, the characters here are all replaceable, which made my first idea like, oh, doesn't matter if you disappear, it just keeps going. I mean, it's like that in the universe. If I disappear, someone else will do these videos for you and tell you about Japanese movies, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe nobody gives anyway, we wanted to get to the end. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and see you next time. Maybe comment or subscribe or like or something. Cool. Thank you. Bye.